1.20 will give access to 11 separate trim types you can find in your survival world. And throwing this seed into the generator will actually give you access to every single overworld structure that will actually have a trim, as well as still giving you access for plenty of exploration. Then the nether structures aren't too hard to get to either. So this is the spawn you actually managed to get right in the middle of a jungle biome. And in this jungle, just head yourself over these corners right here because you'll eventually find yourself the jungle temple. And since we're in this corner of the world anyways, you might as well head over across this direction right over here because just over here, yeah, there's a woodland mansion here too, which means Vex armor trim shouldn't be too hard to get. And since we passed this rune portal right here, going through it will give you this nether spawn we can see right here. And while not the most ideal spawn, it's still relatively easy to get yourself over to another fortress because just heading yourself over in this direction right here, just past here, we can see here's the nether fortress right here. And in terms of the bastion, just head yourself off in this direction right here. Past these one platforms, everything like this. Might be a little bit hard here and there around the place, but yeah, you'll eventually head yourself over to here and find yourself the bastion remnant, which I guess will also house the netherite trim too. Heading back into the overworld, what you're going to want to do is head past the woodland mansion right over here, go through quite a decent amount of roof forest and birch forest and things like that. And then eventually these corners right here, we can find ourselves a pillager outpost right here, as well as also another rune portal right there. But now you're going to want to head off in this direction right here because past this one forest, past this one birch forest, past a little bit of jungle, we'll eventually find ourselves back over at the ocean. An ocean which is of course completely filled up with shipwrecks around the place, as well as of course ocean monuments we can see right here. But of course, even though I've only shown you that monument and that shipwreck, that doesn't mean those are the only monuments and shipwrecks you're going to find in this ocean. There are plenty across the entire ocean to get yourself plenty of different types of trims. But now back around spawn, the way you actually want to go to find yourself the ancient city trim is actually in this direction right here. Because underneath this huge bamboo forest we can see right here, you just head yourself underneath here, and then you'll eventually find yourself the ancient city. Along with here and there, a little bit of lush cave around the place. But now that of course leaves the three other structures possible for holding trims. Well, to find the Stronghold in particular, just head yourself off in this direction, past the one jungle temple you first found, and you're eventually going to want to end up at this village right here, because of course right below it is actually the Stronghold itself. Now the only one which I think is going to be kind of hard to get to no matter what seed you use is of course the one in the end city, but just to show you the closest one I personally found on this one seed, /kill at E. I didn't mean for this to happen, I promise. Assuming you get this end gateway, then the nearest one I actually managed to find was actually off in this direction right here. And there it is. Okay, right off in the distance right there is the nearest one I personally found in this one seed. Again, for a template, not too easy, but you know, this is the best I could do. But that still leaves the desert temple one. Well, that one is probably the second hardest one to find because it is the furthest one you're actually going to have to go to get to. Because off in this direction right here, what you have to do is travel about 1,500 or so blocks off in this direction, which on one hand is kind of far away, but on another hand, at least the terrain isn't too necessarily terrible to start to travel across. And then when you finally head across about 1,500 blocks in one direction, you'll finally end up at the desert temple, as well as the Mesa Badlands, which is a nice bonus. But yeah, in the end, if you want to find every single trim, this is the seat to do it in. On Bedrock Edition at least, on Java Edition, probably not.